Okay. Content is management to a third party. Got it. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to go over there and just make sure because I have no idea. What are we live? Yay. Okay. Never mind. We're live. I don't see you though, Cesar. I just see me. Um, let me go ahead
Probably
and
is when I start talking, I'm going to show up.
When he
very
starts
true.
talking, he shows up.
Yeah.
Very true. Okay. Ooh, it's like I gotta move that out of the way. All right, my friends. Okay, so just know that we are new to this live streaming between Zoom and Facebook, the YouTubes. So we're going to be figuring this out together as we go along, but I think we're going to get really, really good at it. Oh, guess who just showed up? Sarah. All right. So good morning, everybody. My name
Hello,
is Lindsay
everyone.
Duff. We have Cesar here with us. You should be able to see him. Let's see if you show up here in just a second, because I know it's a little behind on YouTube. So um, I'm just waiting to see if, okay, yes, when you talk, you do show up. But I think I can set it to where you show up all the time, but I don't know how to do that. Um, so give me just a little bit of just a moment to see if I can figure that out. Uh, Pin spotlight for everybody, maybe. I think that might do it. So we'll find out here in just a second because everything's a little behind for me. All right, guys. So good morning. My name is Lindsay Duff. Here I have Cesar with me as well. Cesar was one of our oh, so it's just going to have you up now. Now that I pinned you. Okay, let me unpin. Remove spotlight. Let me try just pinning. No, hold on. Sorry, guys. I am learning as we're going along. We're going to remove spotlight. There we go. Okay. So what we want to do today is we want to talk a little bit about some of the stuff that we have going on. And then we're going to also talk about what we see happening in the market. So first thing I want to do is I'm going to bring up the website so we can just kind of talk about what we're going to be having coming up in the near future. We are going to make a little bit of changes to this pretty soon, but as you can see, we've got a couple different options for people nowadays. Now, what we're going to start doing, guys, is we're going to be having live classes, and the live classes are actually going to be going through a good majority of our curriculum. We do have quite a few different programs that you can choose to be a part of. And what we're going to really be talking about is the RDT strategy course. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to go back to my courses so you can just get an idea of what we're going to be talking about in the classes that start on Thursday. So we do have quite a few options here. Obviously, we're working on the course in Spanish as well, which Cesar is here to help us out with. But what we're going to be going through is a free section. So if you look at our regular responsible day trading course, you can see we go through chart basics. So we're going to be talking about the many ways we use ticks, run retracements, pivots, pullbacks, and I'll go through all that in just a moment. But we're going to be going up through all of our lessons through until we get to divergence. So we're going to be talking about the homework, or I'm sorry, we're going to be talking about MACDs. We're going to be talking about EMAs, but we are going to have this left for just our responsible day trading students going through divergence, understanding direction and momentum, and putting it all together. But the free course, which we have right here, is going to be open to everybody. And so with the free course, what we're going to be seeing is there will be homework that you can go through if you like. It will be something that you'll do kind of independently, but we are going to really be breaking down everything we see on the charts, the many way we use ticks. We'll be talking about runs, retracements, pivots, and pullbacks, because, if you're new to trading, what is a run? What is a retracement, a pivot, a pullback? We're going to be talking about how they look in the larger chart versus the smaller chart. We'll be talking about strong moves versus weak moves, and then we'll be talking about what are grindy moves. The next section that we're going to be talking about is the patterns that we're seeing in the overall market. So we're going to be learning about market trends and, what is sideways versus slowdown or a trend within a trend. Then we're going to be moving to what are the EMAs. And guys, the EMAs are these lines that we see on the chart right here, the exponential moving averages. And we're going to be talking about EMA basics. We're going to be talking about how they connect our charts, because that's something that really happens in there, is that they connect our charts. What is support and resistance in the EMAs, and talking about strength and weakness and crossovers and squeezes. And then we're going to move on to the MACDs, and we're going to get to know the MACDs a little. We're going to talk about the MACD zero line. And the MACDs, if you are unfamiliar, is this indicator down at the bottom. Now, this is an RDT MACD, which means that we did have it developed specifically for responsible day trading with the ADX included and things like that. But you can find these indicators online for free, just not with the same settings for the responsible or for the RDT MACDs. But we'll be talking about the MACD BBs and the Bollinger Bands, just kind of really getting to know and understand all the things that we see on the chart, because you can find a lot of this information online for free. It does take some work and some sifting through all the junk to find what really, all of this stuff means. And guys, if you want to, on your independent study time, you can do the homework as well. And the homework will really cover, understanding what we have gone through there. And Dan has done some really good work on the homework videos that also has almost a second set of explanations as we're going through the homework videos. So those are going to be what we're covering starting on Thursday, which it should be a really good time. It's gonna be fun for me. It'll be my birthday, and I'll be able to give the gift to y'all on Thursday. So we're going to be able to spend some time really going through that. I will be able to answer questions if you have them along the way. And yeah, and we'll be going
Um,
from there. So I'm sorry, go
Something
ahead.
that I want to add before we move to the uh, all the market analysis and the news,
Mhm.
etc. Uh, I think this is a great opportunity. This is a great offer because all the thing that I loved about the RDT strategy as a student is that everything is very clear and it explains everything from the very basics, like what are the ticks, what are runs, retracements, what are these lines that we see, the EMAs, and why are they there? So
Mm,
uh, it's great, like you say, for everyone, since from someone that is brand new to trading to someone that has a little bit more experience. It is very well explained. So you are going to go from baby steps all the way to start crawling, and then walk by your own and start running. I mean,
yeah.
the course covers uh, everything from the basics, the more specific way on how to read the market. So that's what I loved about this course.
Yeah, there are, I mean, it pretty much goes through a good majority of our course. And we really started having a conversation about it. And A lot of that stuff you can find online for free, but you do have to sift through a lot of junk to get nice, clear, concise information. So we feel like we've really gone through and put it together in a way that, excuse me, that's easy to understand and just makes it very clear. So, and Sarah, I see you there. It's lovely to have you in here, sir. I've been actually meaning to message you, just kind of check in on you and see how things are going. So, shoot me an email if you get a chance. All right, so let's go ahead and start to talk about what we're here for this morning. And we're going to be talking about the market. Now, when I'm looking to start off for the week, I always look at market news first. Now, do I need to know what the news is? Not necessarily. I don't necessarily get out for news unless it's FOMC, because FOMC can be a wild. And I don't know if y'all saw FOMC this week, but it was definitely wild. So I typically try and stay out during that. So just being aware more than anything is what really is going to be beneficial for you. Um, so yesterday we did have Powell speak. And I don't think it did much of anything because the market did not move very much overnight. But today, in 35 minutes, so I think 15 minutes after the market opens, we're going to have some news come out. And these are the high impact news, guys. You can look at different impact news if you wanted, and you could click the button here. But I only really look at high impact news. That way I can really get a good idea of what might move the market. Um, and then we have in about an hour, we've got some more news coming out. We don't have anything on Tuesday. Wednesday, an hour after the market opens, and then at noon. And guys, remember, these are set on Central Time. I think this calendar is set so that it will automatically put your specific time zone in there. And I'm sorry, guys, I got a little bit of a cold that I've been trying to get rid of. So I apologize for the sniffles over here. Wednesday, we have news at 9:30 and then at noon. And then Thursday, we've got news an hour before the market opens and at noon, and nothing on Friday. Ooh, I'm trying to hold back a sneeze.
Yeah, usually Fridays are a little bit of slow days, uh, but who knows? Probably we can see some spike of the price right there because we are in an area where it's going to be a lot of movement for the price this week.
Yeah.
So probably we'll see a lot of movement.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and talk about some of that movement. Let's go ahead and first talk about, and let me grab this again, the daily chart. So the first thing I want to discuss about the daily chart is the fact that we are not far from our last major high. Our last major high happened around 5,000, a little bit higher than that. I was looking at that earlier and I can't remember what the number was. Right around 5,034. Okay. And so right now the price you can see is at 49.66. And we did make it almost up to that 5,000 mark, or we did make it just a little bit past the 5,000 mark Friday. So we're really, really not far from the all-time high that we saw back in when was that? December 2020, went it right around there.
Yeah, around there.
2020. No, it was after that, December 2022, it says.
22.
Yeah. So December 2021, right before it had a huge drop. So we have pulled back up towards our all-time high. Okay. We're working on getting there. Are we going to make it there? We may. I don't think it's a bad chance that we're going to make it there. And let's talk a little bit about what's going on I'm sorry, guys, my dog is in here, and there'll be a chance that I'm going to mute quickly because she will lose her ever living stuff anytime somebody drives by in anything that seems remotely like a delivery truck. So, now what we saw right in here, and what I really want to talk about is the behavior that's happening here between the price and the MACDs. So what we're going to look at is we have something called divergence. And divergence is when the price and the MACDs disagree. So the price says more up, the MACDs say, I'm not so sure about it. We're not making new highs. We're making lower highs. So we may see this turn around and push back down. Now, um, let's talk a little bit, let's go a little bit more in depth with that. So what we see here is we saw the price pull back, and this is a really decent pullback in the price. We see a really strong pullback in the bar to the downside. MACDs, not so much. MACDs barely pulled back at all right here. And so whenever that happens, that gives us the indication that we're going to see it push more to the upside. So we saw the price pull down, make a hard close towards the bottom, pull back up, and try to make a hard close towards the top. And this is all the reaction we saw in the MACDs. They couldn't even get back down to that bottom Bollinger Band. Well, we have another thing kind of holding up the party right here is the fact that we have pulled up towards this top Bollinger Band and we have not broken through it. So that area of the top Bollinger Band can also act as resistance, right? And push this back down. So we'd really like to see this price and the MACDs. I'm sorry, the MACDs is more what I'm thinking. We'd like to see these MACDs push through this top Bollinger Band and move up and kind of get rid of this potential for divergence if we expect it to really continue and move more to the upside. But it doesn't have to, right? We do have strong EMAs to the upside, opening up right here and pushing up, and have the possibility for it to move up a little bit more. Cesar, I'm gonna let you take over for a minute. I need to mute my mic for just a moment.
Yeah. What you were saying, I think I agree with the what we're seeing here in the daily chart. I think the price is going to try to reach the all-time highs. Um, as we can see, and as you said, we have a uh, we have a strong separation in the EMAs. We also have a lot of distance between the price and the EMAs. So that's going to lead us to probably think that the price is going to try to reach the all-time high and use it probably as a resistance. And probably we're going to see a lot of movement there, a lot of liquidity, and probably if that's going to happen, we will have to wait to see if it's going to use it as a resistance to push back down, and uh, like naturally, the price always is going to try to reach the EMAs, and we might see that, or if it breaks that resistance and continues up, uh, continuing with that strength and momentum that we are seeing right now. Uh, so we will have to wait, but probably right now, um, the intention of the price is to try to reach that all-time high, and after that, we will have to be uh, like really alert on what's going to be the next move for the price.
I agree with that. Like, we have enough strength and momentum, even with the divergence, to push this market towards the upside and at the very least reach the all-time high. But when I like to say when if, so when or if it does reach that area of the all-time high, we need to be extremely aware to the idea that it could reach that and push back off. And I drew these lines on the EMAs because when these EMAs separate, it does show us a lot of strength and momentum. So we are able to see the fact that it could move up further, move up higher, and move up with strength. Now, I mean, you can see when the EMAs are wide and spread apart, we get a lot of strength and momentum, but we'd really like to can excuse me, continue pulling away from them as we pull away, we do expect to what we call snap back to them, right? So as we pull away from the EMAs, the expectations of these EMAs are magnets. So we always expect to come back to them. So as we're pulling away here with this, divergence potential happening here, and it's always potential for divergence until divergence happens, because the potential for divergence can most definitely go away. Okay. So if the price and the MACD start to agree and move together, then they're converging instead of diverging. So if the MACD happens to get up towards this top last pivot, then we no longer have divergence because they're both equal or higher at that point. But I think we do still have the possibility for this to push to the upside. We're really just going to have to watch and see what this MACD does. Is it going to break out of that top Bollinger Band? Is it going to use this top Bollinger Band as a resistance to move the price and the MACDs back down? But that's a lot of talk about I don't know, my daily chart just tried to disappear on me. That's a lot of talk about the daily chart. So let's go ahead and move over into the 28,657, which is our next biggest chart. So on the 28,657, we can see that the EMAs are open to the upside, but our MACDs are showing some like lots and lots of strength to the downside currently. Now we're pulling down towards the zero line, which is an area for a bounce. We can see like something like this, where we had a lot of strength, and then as it was starting to get closer to the zero line, it started to weaken and roll inside of the Bollinger Band. That is my anticipations of what we may see happen here. We may see it pull down a little bit further, though. So we have reached that last area of support, which was resistance here, and it was resistance here as well in order to push the market down. So once it is resistance and we break through it and pull back to it, now it's looking as an area for support. Okay. So we may see this as an area for support, or we may see it pulled back down a little bit further into the next area of the EMA and the support area, which I really like when these areas line up. It's lined up right here with the small EMA as an area of support, and it's lined up right here with the area of the large EMA as an area of support. So we would definitely need to see this slow down a bit. We do have all these bars that have just sat here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I believe. And the last 5 BBs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, have just been, as I like to say, smoking to the downside, right? There's a lot of strength and momentum between those BBs, which tells us it may have a little bit of a struggle holding out here at this area. Do you have anything you'd like to say about it, Cesar?
Yeah, I think what we're seeing right now in agreement with the daily chart is a trend to the upside.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so as for right now, the immediate scenario will be a continuation to the upside, probably if the price, like you said, reach uh, this EMA and
Yeah,
the MACD reaches the zero line.
zero in.
Yeah, um, probably to use them as a support and bounce uh, to the upside. Otherwise, what I will be expecting, what I would like to see is a break of the EMAs for the price, then comes back, touch it, and go uh, to continue down.
Okay.
If that that being said, because we are looking, like you said, a lot of strength in the MACDs, in case that we were looking for a short, I will be expecting the same thing with the MACDs, a break of the zero line, use it as a resistance, and continue down. But right now, the what we're seeing, the scenario that we're seeing, uh, it will be a continuation uh, for a long. Uh, that
Yeah.
will be two scenarios that I will be looking for.
I mean, one thing, yeah, we also do have divergence here between these pivots, right? And this was over the course of just a day or so. The price was continuing to push up, MACD's leading down, which does, when we have divergence, it doesn't always mean that it should change the entire trend in the market. Divergence sometimes for us, or many times, is just enough to push it back towards the EMAs to give us an area to have a bounce to the upside. You can see right in here, we had divergence, just kind of looking at past scenarios. We had where the price was leading higher, MACDs were leading lower, brought us right back to the area of the EMAs, which gave us areas to take trades to the upside. Now, I know it doesn't look like it's moving a whole lot in here, but if we're really looking at it, this is the 28,657. So a small bar on here may be a 5-point bar, so it does give us a lot of areas to play with to continue to the upside. Although I remember looking at this particular day and thinking, please, I hope nobody's trading those couple of days because it was just such slow moving. When it's moving very, very slow, it does get a little hard to stay focused, I guess is the best way to put it. It gets a little hard to make good decisions because you're constantly second guessing yourself because you've got a lot of time in between each move. And there's nothing worse than just sitting there waiting and twiddling your thumbs and feeling like you should be doing something. I mean, that's one of the things that, is the difference between a day trader and someone in the normal workforce is our idea of work is not the same as anybody else because the more that we put ourselves in the market and do things that have us continuously selecting and making decisions, the more chances we have to make mistakes. So it's definitely a job where less is more, right? Um, so let's go ahead and talk about our three major trading charts. Now, guys, these three major trading charts can change. Some people, which I believe Cesar is one of them, uses the
Yes.
4181 and the 610 here. Okay. Absolutely fine. Definitely a pattern that you can use. I feel like when the market's moving really, really good, that spreading it out a little bit more between the 10,946 and the 233 is the way to go. Now, I have also found myself from time to time using this combo, especially when it's moving extremely slow, using the 1597, 610, 233 combo. And really, what it is about these guys is it's the way that the EMAs connect these charts. You can see I've got the yellow EMA here, which is this one here. I've got the pink EMA here, which is this pink EMA here. Well, if I take that 16 out and put that 1597 back over here, they're all different colors, but they are still connected. So, and we do teach you how these connect whenever we go through that course that we were talking about a little bit earlier. So you can learn all about that if you decide to come to those classes on Thursdays, which we'll be running those Thursday at what time is it? Is it
Uh,
noon?
let me check. Let me check.
Okay. Sorry, I don't remember the time right now off the top of my head. Um, but you can come to those classes and learn a little bit more. All right, so let's talk about, oh, we've only
Yes,
got
at
2 minutes
noon.
at noon. Okay, we only got about 2 minutes till the market opens up again, opens up. So let's just talk really quick through the 10946, 1597, and 233. Now, guys, the way I like to look at this is like, you know, Papa Bear, Mama Bear, and Baby Bear, I guess you can say. Or I sometimes like to say like the grandparents, the parents, and the grandchildren. And so that means like this is like the gentle giant on the 10946. It moves much slower. For every bar that's created on the 10946, we're going to see something like 8 on the 1597 and something like 16 on the 233. So this gives us a much bigger overall picture. And earlier, when Cesar and I were talking about this pull back to this area right here, what I was saying, and it was just me and him talking, I was saying we would need to see this next BB really push down because these EMAs are showing strength to the upside. And so we got what kind of looks like a tiny little bar here, and we look like we're trying to really push up at this point. So it'll be really interesting to watch. Um, in that same time, we had a little bit of a difference of opinion between the 10946 and the 1597. 10946 was showing strength to the upside, 1597 was showing strength to the downside. So as we can see, we've got a little bit of a conflict of which one is telling us that we're going to see more in that direction. And honestly, in situations like this, sometimes I like to wait for it to work itself out. I do have to see stronger signals on the 1597 if I want to believe that it's going to continue up. So right now we are back below the zero line on the 10946, but the direction is still up because we haven't gotten back below the EMAs. On the 1597, direction had shifted to the downside because we got back below the EMAs and back below the zero line, and we haven't shifted back above both. So the direction is to the downside on the 1597. On the 233, direction is down as well. Typically, and I think you feel the same way about this, Cesar, when we're kind of stuck between the EMAs and pulling back above and below and above and below, or pulling back inside to the top and the bottom, it's kind of a better idea to wait for it to work itself out before you try and trade because you can really get stuck between these areas. But I
Correct.
can see right now the MACD BB did not push up inside and push back up. So we may see this actually give us a little bit more of that push to the downside. And now remember, we were talking about that on the 28,657 about how the MACDs were staying outside. We hadn't seen, this giving us a strong we're going to hold at this area just yet. So we may see it try and move back down towards that 49.36 area as it's really attempting to make these moves to the downside. Okay, so the market has been open for 2 minutes now. So we're just now getting moving. I mean, technically, we could always trade before, but to me, it's nicer to wait for the market to open because sometimes it can be pushing in one area and then make a quick turnaround um,
Yeah, actually,
whenever the
like
market
if
opens.
if we see it on the 233, we can see the both price and EMAs going up and then moving down and shifting sides, crossing one over the other. So it will be, like you said, it will be better just to be patient, wait, and wait for the price to make a decision if it's going to continue down or if it's going to use the indicators in the high time frames to use them as support and change direction to and continue to the upside.
Yeah.
So right now we are just moving between, like we can say, we have this resistance and this support.
Mm-hmm.
So the best way to see this environment of the market is just uh, grab your coffee and wait a little bit and just enjoy
Well,
the show
and something I
to
wanted to say really quick too before we move on from this really quick. Um, as we're seeing this kind of stuck in this area and it did look like it was going to push down, what was happening here? We were struggling to break outside of the Bollinger Bands here. We weren't breaking below the Bollinger Bands on the 233. So if you're not paying attention to those, you could easily get sucked into attempting to take shorts right in these areas and then wondering why you got stopped out right after, because it looked like it was going to push down here and it looked like it was going to push down here. But what we were noticing is we still weren't able to break out of those Bollinger Bands here and here. And I used to get myself run over by those all the time. I'd see it pull back to the EMAs and think, oh my gosh, okay, we're going to take a short. We've got these weak movements here. And then it never crossed that bottom Bollinger Band and then get stopped out when it pulled back. So that's something I've learned to avoid like the plague, so that I don't get stopped out of these trades over and over again. And
Yeah,
sorry, I didn't mean
same
to
here.
interrupt you. I just wanted to bring that up before it moved completely away from that area too.
No, that's okay. Thank you. But I think the same way. I mean, if we see it here in the 10946, we're not just between the support and the resistance, but we're also in between the two EMAs. So
Mm-hmm.
that's also a very uh, difficult spot to take a trade and make a decision.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, we it will be better just to wait for the price to, like, in this area right here. I mean, we can see that we are above the EMAs and the MACDs are above the zero line. So that
Mm-hmm.
gives us a little bit more confidence that the price is going to continue in that direction. But
Gotcha.
if we are stuck between the EMAs and we can see these BBs running almost flat horizontally, so the market is telling us that we're not moving anywhere right now. So it's better just to wait uh, to make a decision. I mean, like I told you before, in the two tier three, we are seeing this cross to the upside, and then again crossing to the down, and now uh, the MACDs
Did
are
cross back up and back down.
exactly. So it's better just to wait. Uh, and like we saw previously, we are going to have news really soon. So probably the market is waiting for those news to make a movement. So right now, just sit back, relax, enjoy the show, and wait for the news to come.
Can you
And
slide
probably
this one
that's
off of here so I can just see what's going on with that one with the
yeah,
MACDs? Thank you. No, I agree with you though. And so, right, it's like getting tighter and tighter, and we're making a little bit of a wedge, right? So we're looking
yeah,
to pop out
correct.
of that wedge more than anything right now. It does look like it has a better chance to go to the downside because we are back below everything here, and the MACDs haven't exactly popped to the upside yet. But the fact, like what I talked about here earlier, and now look at this, even though we pushed down again, one thing that we really want to see for anticipations for it to continue down is the ability for it to break down below those Bollinger Bands and stay on what I call the right side of the Bollinger Bands, which is being back below them if we're looking for more down, or being above them if we're looking for more up. And it struggled to break out here. It had a very weak move back here, but we are still seeing the possibilities for it to move down. This doesn't exactly look like the you know, poster child for a move back up. It's definitely looking like it's really attempting to continue down. Um, but it's a very uncomfortable down.
Yes,
And then you also have to think about, where's my risk going to go if I'm going to take this trade? Where does it need to be? And the very last spot that it needed to be was right back behind here, which gives us a lot of risk between that, right? So there's a lot of things that go into, is it time for me to take the trade just yet? And it definitely felt like it was in a good spot for it once it pulled back right in here. But we still haven't crossed that bottom Bollinger Band. Ooh, it's really making it now. Okay, so we are pushing back towards the downside. We may see it. Now, my next thing is, okay, if this does continue and push down, where am I looking for my next area of support to happen? Well, first off, we are, as we said, we're in a bit of a wedge, right? So we have lower highs, higher lows. So it's a little hard because we haven't broken out of that wedge just yet. And here we are creating a reversal bar. What looks like it's trying to push up higher. We did break outside of the Bollinger Bands. Lately I've been talking a lot about waiting for that second BB when we break outside of the Bollinger Band so we can get a real clear picture of, is this really going to push down? Because you can see right here that second BB, right after that it moved back inside. So the second BB to break through is showing a little bit of distance between it. But guys, it's still struggling. Look at what's happening right here at the MACDs. Barely even pushed down at this point. So we're still kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. Of, are we looking for this to continue down? Do we have a chat on in here? I don't see anybody like, I just want to make sure. Yep.
Yeah, we
Okay.
do. We do.
Okay. Hmm. So while it was giving these like what looked like really nice clear signals to move to the downside, what happened? Almost immediately it died out and pushed back up because we were still in that same area. I still feel like it's got a little bit of a better chance to move down. Just the fact that we haven't even broken back inside of the Bollinger Bands here on the 10946. So that next area that we're looking for the possibility is, where did we say? Uh, if it breaks through here, it's around the 4936 area, which is a big gap, which is a big area to go to. It's all the way back down around here is that next area. So if it breaks out of here, we may be able to anticipate it to move all the way back down to that 4936 area, which is the next area on the 28657. Now I can stop before any of those areas and you can see we're still haven't broken out of this little support area here. Although it does feel, and I hate using the word feel, but it does have the sense like it's really trying to, but you see how these BBs look right here? And let's talk about what strong and weak BBs look like. These are what we call weak BBs. It's because they're bunched together, they don't have a lot of separation, and there's not a lot of angle. Strong BBs are what it looks like right in here. We've got a lot of distance between each BB. There's a nice sharp angle to it. So currently we've got weak BBs on the 1597. We're still struggling to really get back below that last low on the 233. So we've still got the opportunity for this to die out here in this area. We haven't pushed back down. Man, that BB, it's really looking like it's trying to roll off of that band and push to the downside. Whew.
I mean, we have news in 3 minutes, so probably that's going to make the market move a little bit faster.
Yeah. Oh, I'm trying not to sniffle too much on the microphone so it doesn't gross anybody out. All right. This is something that I kind of like to see, the fact that we did make a little bit of a floor here. It is starting to pull back in. We had that little, just one purple BB, just that one purple BB, and it pushed up, but we are still below everything here on the 1597. We are still below in the 233. So the direction is down on the 1597 and the 233. Every other chart we have, that's not a true statement because I'm looking at the 610, it's down. The 4181 is down. Um, is it really though? And this is our
Yeah.
first bar that broke away, and we haven't really closed back below that bar. And that's what I mean by that is our EMAs, we want to break away from the EMAs, which we did with this bar right here. And then we want to close below that bar. And what I mean is like separate and close below that bar. And that has not happened. So technically, the direction on the 4181 is still to the upside. So while we have all these looks where it's really trying to push down, I think it's fighting it and it's going to try and give us a little bit more movement to the upside. No, it could just slam to the downside, but this is what I see it really, really fighting this move to the downside.
I mean, we can also say that uh, uh, if the support is really that strong and the price can make it to break it, I mean, we can see a big drop of the price. I mean,
Yeah.
it is building a strong support, so it's gonna take a lot to break it. But it when it does, I mean, it's going to go really with a lot of strength.
Yes. So that's one thing that I really love about when it does hang out like this for a while. When it hangs out, hangs out, and hangs out. When it finally breaks, it breaks with the thunder. It breaks with a lot of force.
Yeah,
And it gives us a lot of opportunity typically after that. And that's like something when it holds out for days, when it finally does break, man, it gives so many great opportunities and moves like crazy after that. Okay. Really, really struggling to go down with how much is struggling to go down to. It's like, okay, are we going to see a nice big push to the upside? These bars got smaller and smaller and smaller. We still haven't broken through that top Bollinger Band. And then news is now, or did we already have the news come out?
it's now. Yeah, probably in a
Okay.
couple of minutes we're going to see movement, but also
We
in
may, I
15.
mean, even with all, not all high impact news makes it really move, but there is still the possibility that people are waiting for the high
Yeah,
impact news to happen before they make a decision.
correct. And we also have another news in 14 minutes. So probably that's going to make all the uh, decisions that we need.
Yeah. I'm going on another screen just to look at the news again so I can just keep it in a reminder. Okay. Yeah. 14 minutes till the next news comes out. Okay, so I'm guessing this is our little pop from the news. There it is right there. Boom,
Yeah.
boom. So strong. Um, so what we're seeing happening now, okay, we're reaching that area of the resistance again. The MACDs are still trying to stay outside. Oh, we haven't broken that top band on the 10946. We do have some divergence happening on the 233, but I don't let a little small divergence like that on the 233 really make up my mind for me. With the MACDs being outside of the Bollinger Bands here and pulling away, I'm not going to give this divergence very much weight because, we saw the price equal and the MACDs leading lower, but the fact that our bigger tick chart MACD BBs still had strength up, I do not look at this divergence as something that can really affect, um,
The trend.
yeah, that makes it move to the downside. Ooh, okay, here we go. We're starting to break through that top Bollinger Band. And were there opportunities in here? Sure. There were opportunities to take short trades, but you really had to pay attention to when it died out to make sure you got out of that trade, or you could end up, losing on that if you're not careful. Give me a second. All right. Now it's pushing back up into the EMA. This BB is going to be kind of critical for me right here. I know there's 8,000 ticks, but I want to see is it going to continue up past there or is this going to curl in at the EMAs and come down really quickly? Okay, are there any questions so far, guys? We actually are starting to run a little short on time for
I
today.
think I think our charts are having different uh, momentums, could I say? Because I'm seeing the price right now at a little lower than your what your price is. I don't know if your is
Are you looking at the one on YouTube? Because that YouTube is a little bit behind.
no on Zoom because your 10946 is at 68 and mine is at 67, pushing up. Um, yeah, probably the data.
Is mine behind, do you think?
I think mine is behind yours,
Okay. Just might need to refresh your data.
probably.
Yeah. Also, guys, a couple things just in case you are wondering, just so I let you know, we do have coming up. We are going to be doing some live meet and greets in the Houston area. So that is, and Cesar is actually going to be here for that. That's the 22nd and the 25th,
Uh,
24th.
or 20, the 24th.
Yeah.
Let me check.
So the 22nd, it's going to be at Christian's Tailgate in Houston. And the 24th, it's going to be at a coffee place in which I can't think of the name of the coffee place. It's like
Envito.
Vito. Yeah. I kept wanting to say Benito, and I knew that wasn't right. In Vito. So we're going to be, if you guys are interested in joining us for that, we would love to have you out there. It doesn't matter what kind of trader you are or what you trade. We'd love to have you as part of it. Ooh,
Yeah,
this is
last
what I was
time.
talking about, by the way, with this BB. I would really wanted to see it break through the top, and it is struggling, right? So it's pulling back and it's pushing back down again. So maybe this is the point where we actually see this move to the downside, or maybe it's just going to hang out here until it pops up. But yeah, so Embito Coffee, and like I said, Cesar is coming because Cesar lives in Tampico, Mexico, but he's going to come and join us in Houston for that. Also, guys, we do also hold a live in-person seminar. Although we may be doing it via online this time, we're not sure 100%, but it is a really great time to be able to break down things, go through things a little more in depth. We do things like bar by bars together. We do market replays to go through some different scenarios and how to handle yourself in the live market. So if you guys do want to be a part of that, definitely let us know. That will be in April. Um, I have no idea. The MES, so we're looking at the ES, Dan. So I know the MES and the ES will run a little bit differently, but so I don't know what the MES is doing right now.
Also,
Go ahead.
a little add to the coming for the meets and greets.
Hmm.
I remember last time when we had our coffee uh, meetup. There was a guy that traded stocks,
Hmm.
and so everyone is welcome. I mean, we just want to
Yes.
know more traders and exchange ideas because we know that we all have our own style to trade, and it there's a lot of strategies out there, so it can work for anyone. So we just want
Yeah.
to meet new traders and exchange ideas, just because like Ange always says, trading is can be a lonely road,
Yes.
and probably and there's a lot of traders out there that they just trade their own and they have their own strategy, and it's really hard to talk about trading because there's not a lot of people that knows about this business. And if there's an opportunity to meet another people that thinks like you and have the same interests as you, I mean, there's a good conversation that we can
Yeah.
have there.
Yeah, and you're right. Like it is very lonely, and maybe I selfishly started some of this so I didn't have to spend all my time alone, you know. But it's been great because I have y'all here with me, and it really does make a big difference. Because even with working with students, it keeps me reminding myself of different lessons, and I think it really helps to go through somebody's struggles with them and then remind yourself that I've had those struggles in my past as well. And so there's not a lot of difference between what they're doing and what I'm doing. And I've been there and I know how to overcome it. um you know even though I'm still human. So it's nice to be able to have just a group of people with you. And with the meet and greets, it's also nice to hear what other people are doing and their other strategies and what they're working with.
Yeah.
Man, this is I'm gonna say this is just kind of a tough day so far. This was open last night. Okay. This is on the 1597, and this was open last night. On a typical day, we'll already have this so out of sight by 9 in the morning because there's been so much data and the data is moving very, very slow. I do believe it's trying to really trick us into taking some short trades that are not fully going to work out. um, I want to come back to the 28,657 too and talk about how we were talking about how it got weaker at the zero line. And here we can see all these BBs really, really bunched together. We see a floor created with all these bars really attempting to push towards the upside. So we may see this push back up, although typically with all these bars sitting here and all these BBs, I would expect it to push down more. But the fact that we have a strong resistance or support area, we have an EMA, this may be enough to at least give us a bounce towards the upside before it does pull back down if it's going to again. So we're just kind of still stuck between this area. We are running a little short on time. We've got about another 5, 7 minutes left before we're going to move along for the day. But if anybody's got any questions or if anybody has anything that they would like to add, we would love to hear it from you. Um, Otherwise, it's just kind of the same thing as we are stuck between this wedge that we're making right in here. You can see price is just leading lower there and it's leading higher here. So eventually we're going to have to break out of one of these.
Mhm.
This is not anything that I would want to trade personally because I would be struggling between, when it gets down to this area. The high heel look, yes. It's been a long time since I talked about that, Dan. It's just kind of like got this look like a high heel. I mean, it keeps doing it right in here. It's done it in here. And it just kind of keeps, and it is very uncomfortable because we have this area of resistance that's holding. We have an area of support that's holding. We really just need to break out of one of these areas. And then if we look over to the 233, guys, so this is, more than anything, I think one of the biggest disciplines is learning just to be patient and be still during these times. Um, you could see a ton of signals on the 233 that says it's go time. Okay. And if you're only looking at your smaller tick chart, you're going to get run over a bunch by what looks like flag reversal bars, what looks like continuation. Someone may try to take the short right in here because it looks like continuation, but then you go over to your regular, your bigger tick chart and it said the MACDs are dying out. It's telling you it's not time to take the trade. So, there are a lot of things kind of holding up the party here, guys. And we'd really like to see a breakthrough. Now, here, I love that the MACDs have broken through the top Bollinger Band finally on our 10946. It is not with a lot of strength. Okay. So far, it is, oh, it's trying. So that second BB, let's see, that first BB crossed. Let's see what that second BB is going to do, if it's going to break through there or not. Guys, another thing too, I want y'all to remember we do have a lot of ways for y'all to stay in touch with us. One of our newest ways to stay in touch is our Discord channel. And it's actually one of our most active ways to be involved. We have students posting their charts there, questions coming through, people that work here with us, like Cesar, Jason, Dan, everybody are posting their charts in of their trades in there. So if you want to see what some other students and people that are, employed here at Responsible Day Trading, if you want to see what they're doing, feel free to join our Discord so that we can so you can just kind of see what the team is doing here.
Yeah, we're sharing there our both good and bad traits because, like you say, we cannot learn uh, if we don't have mistakes. So
Yeah.
we're posting there's the news. There's
Yep.
movement now.
There's the 9 o'clock news, which I think
Yes.
we had two things coming out at 9.
The PMI, it's just that high impact is just the PMI.
This is another reason that some people will definitely get uncomfortable with trading with high impact news, because we saw how big that bar moved to the downside. If you had, for any reason, decided to take a long trade, you would have been stopped out pretty quickly with that kind of thing. So, what some people will do is wait 5 minutes before or 5 minutes after news in order to kind of let it work itself out. It is not a requirement. If you're trading on something like you profit, you do not have to be out during news, which some places will require you to be out during news. We don't require that because we know a lot of people will use news as a, some people do trade news. Some people prefer to trade news. It's really going to be your preference. I don't really love trading news. I like to kind of let it do its thing and then be a part of it after. But just being aware is more than anything most of the battle. I feel like YouTube is way behind, but I could be wrong. Oh no, it is way behind. Oh, crazy. Crazy. All right. So it looks like it's really trying to make that move to the downside. We've now pulled back into the next area. We do have MACD showing strength down here, but now we need to break through this area if we're going to expect it to move down. If for me to feel comfortable trading this, I'd want to see it break through here and then pull back into it and then push off out of that area. We don't have anything like that happening just yet. It's pulled back down to that bottom of that area and it's just bouncing right off of it again. So what we may see is it pull right back up into these EMAs, roll off of it, move to the downside and get us through there. But we don't have what I would consider exceptional strength to the downside, and we don't have any strength to the upside. So, one of the biggest challenges, honestly, I believe, is sitting on your hands and just waiting, because we live in a society that tells us we always need to work, work, work. And so we feel like we always need to be in something. Oh, my lawn guys are here. Give me just a second. Um, so, it's really just going to be something that if you're waiting for the breakthrough and the pullback, maybe a little bit easier. I need to mute myself for just a minute.
Yeah. So you just have to wait for the right uh, moment to take trades, like we were saying before. Uh, the in the 10946 we started to see the BBs going outside of the Bollinger Bands, but as we are seeing right now, that's not the only indication that we need to make a decision. We can see that the price just changed direction to the downside. Now the BBs are inside the Bollinger Bands and they're pushing to break that bottom Bollinger Band in the 10946. We are currently outside on the 1597, but if you can see, if you're paying attention also, it's starting to change color in the 1597. So what
Yeah, they're getting a
uh,
lighter color.
yeah, so that might indicate that the price is going to make a little push to the upside, probably just to regain strength. And in the 10946, we are seeing deep purple BBs. So what will be my scene right here? Probably a little pushback to test again the support that we just broke and continue down with that strength on the 10946. But
Yeah.
like Lindsay said, uh, just we just have to be patient and wait for that scenario to come true if that's
Yes.
what we're expecting.
Yes. All right, guys. So we are going to wrap this up for today. We do see it pulling right back down into that EMA. It looks like it's trying to make a tiny little bar. There's still 7,000 ticks, but if this makes a tiny little bar and bounces off of here, we may see it pull back up. Right now, the direction is still to the upside on the 10946. It is until we pull away from this EMA and break away from it with the second bar, but it has the potential to move to the downside, and there were opportunities to move to the downside with it. It's just you're gonna, everybody has a different level of comfort whenever it comes to taking trades. Cesar takes trades that I wouldn't take, and I take trades that Cesar wouldn't take. Because we all have a little bit, I don't want to say a little bit of a different read, but a little bit of a different comfortability factor. So he may have been comfortable trading directly into this EMA. Well, I want to wait to break through it and pull back. So it's going to be a little bit different for everybody. And that's one of the things that I love about this is that we're all looking at the same thing, but we can all see something a little bit different. And it doesn't make either of us wrong or right. Like I've said a million times, I may be looking for a short trade and you may be looking for a long trade. Whereas, you may be looking for the run. Well, I'm looking for the retracement or something to that nature. It's all a matter of making sure you understand when the move dies out and when you need to be out of it at that point. So all right, guys, thank you so much for being here with us today. I really appreciate it. I hope that everybody got a little bit of information about what we see today. I really wish we would have had a more active Monday. We did not today. Were there opportunities? Sure, there were some opportunities in all of these pullbacks that we saw into the 1597. But being so close to that lower EMA and waiting for the anticipations to break through it may have kept you out of any of these trades. So, guys, thank you so much for being here. Don't forget, join our Discord. We start classes on Thursday to go through the very basics. If you want to be there, we're going to put out the link for everybody to join. And thanks, guys. Thank you for being here. And I hope everybody has a great day.
Bye. Thank you for being here, guys.
Bye, guys.